Hello and welcome to Haus. I'm Rob, and today we're going to be talking about some more Gen 10, some Pokemon Gaia leaks that are coming out, some rumors. This one again coming from Light 88, and this one's really big. We've already talked about the new gimmick and kind of how it might work. This is giving us a very specific kind of explanation. I'm going to read us through this and try to give you my thoughts once we're done as to how this all will kind of connect and how it could be very similar but different as well as to what we have had in the past. But before we dive in, I'm going to ask that you guys like and subscribe. Like if you find this video to be informative, and subscribe if you want to join us on our Pokemon journey. And as we kind of work our way to get to 1,000 subs, we appreciate all of you who are already here, and we look forward to continuing to bring you great content. But let's hop into it here. Like I said, this has come from, Light, who is a person who is somewhat reputable. They get things right for sure. They have, put out leaks that have been wrong at times in the past as well, or maybe things have changed and they were like, this is for sure there, but things have changed. That happens with a lot of these leakers right now, but this is one of the more interesting ones. I will say a lot of you are like, hey, don't give them the attention. If you feel that way, then that is totally fair. You do not have to agree with what they are doing here. But my goal is to kind of enlighten everybody, show everybody what's going on. I think the hype train around leaks and everything is enjoyable. Personally, you can take it with a grain of salt. I'm not going to say for sure that this sounds real or that this is going to be real, right? There are plenty of fake rumors and leaks that are put out there, but it allows us to kind of let our imagination run wild for what things are going to be. You just have to make sure you keep your expectations, I think at a reasonable level. So I wanted to put that kind of caveat in there, but let's hop into this here. They're saying that this is from the Terra leak, something that has been quite the controversy, especially lately. Obviously, it was a big deal last year in 2024, but now it's even bigger because Nintendo's going after the person who allowed for the Terra leaks. They had promised that they were not going to put out anything, from these new games, from Legend ZA, from Gen 10, just other projects that they had going on. It was only stuff that was going to be in the past. But now it feels like, they were threatening Nintendo and Pokemon that they were going to put out everything if they actually came after them. Now it seems like it might be happening. We'll have to see. Like I said, they even put in here subject to change. So that's why I take this with a grain of salt, but we will see. The Majin. So a collection of extra-dimensional beings led by a mysterious figure. These, quote, gods are able to possess both Pokemon and people alike. Regional folklore states that these Majin raise the islands out of the sea itself and are the guardian deities of their respective islands. When possessing a powerful enough vessel, they are able to channel their power into reality, shaping their domains in their image. The vessels. Particularly powerful Pokemon possessed by the Majin. Concept art showed the leader of the Majin possessing a legendary/mythical Pokemon, granting it incredible power as well as some slight coloration changes and a visible aura, not unlike the ones granted to trial bosses in Sun and Moon. The vessel is the locus, of the Majin's power. I bet that means focus instead of locus. We'll see. Gaining the ability to shape the environment, unleash incredibly powerful attacks, and much more. The Apotheosis. When holding a certain item specific to a Majin, a player's Pokemon can be blessed by said Majin. This leads to stat changes in the vein of the Majin. Offensive Majin give offensive stats, etc. When activated, clouds envelop the Pokemon in a swirling vortex and lightning strikes, blessing the Pokemon. The Apostles. Certain species of Pokemon gain more from Apotheosis than others. These species are attuned to a specific Majin, and when they use Apotheosis with that Majin's item, they truly ascend, gaining what's functionally a mega evolution in the image of their Majin. So, it might be Majin, but I think it's Majin. This is wild. I mean, this is absolutely incredible in terms of kind of the way that they are doing this. I think the image below makes sense. Like, this is almost a combination of every other gimmick that we have ever had. And maybe that's the goal, is like this will be the final gimmick that we are going to get is Gen 10. You know, they are maybe going to stop doing these extra ones. You know, we've had 6, 7, 8, and 9. We had games before without any of these gimmicks. So maybe this will be the last one, and it's kind of a culmination of all of them. But this is incredible. You know, the idea of it being that, you know, we read a leak, I think it was earlier this week or late last week, where, you know, they claim that there are going to be 12 islands. There's going to be 8 of them. They are, you know, have like another protector, similar to like, you know, Light said here with trial bosses in Sun and Moon. And that, you know, this feels like Arceus giving power in Legends Arceus as well, right? This feels like Gigantamaxing. In certain areas you're going to get more powerful. Certain Pokemon are going to have the ability to do these certain things. Maybe even their moves are going to change. Their stats are going to change like they do with Mega Evolutions. They're going to be able to change the area around them. What's interesting is that they are able to possess people and Pokemon alike. So maybe they're going to possess people that are going to be kind of their human forms, where they're going to be able to talk to everybody, where they're going to be the defenders of these islands. And look, guys, again, this feels kind of like a culmination of a lot of things that people have really liked. A lot of people really liked the way that Alola played. They liked the islands. They liked, you know, not having gyms anymore. It feels like they're putting less and less effort into gyms. Specifically, you know, Scarlet and Violet's gyms felt pretty lackluster at times, at least in my opinion. But the fact that, you know, you're going to be able to tune with these Pokemon, that it depends on which Majin you're going to want. So, you know, if you're going for a more defensive build, maybe you imbue the powers of that Majin into your Pokemon. Maybe you can build an attacking, you know, Pokemon with a certain Majin, even though, you know, it's more naturally attuned to like a defensive one. There's a lot that's going to go into this, and I'm really excited about kind of that potential opportunity. I don't know that this is real. This sounds almost too good to be real. It sounds, again, like they are drawing from multiple different, you know, sources, multiple different things that we have seen in the Pokemon games in the past, and that they are going to try to combine it all together and make it like the ultimate one, where it's just going to be new forms, new auras, new transformations, new stats, potentially new moves, all that kind of stuff. I love this idea personally. If you can't tell, I think it would be absolutely outstanding for them to add this in the game. I just feel like it almost sounds too good to be true, which normally means that it's fake. That being said, you know, Light is claiming that this is directly from the Terra leaks, that it has been extracted. It is text that has been extracted. That means two possible things to me. Either that there's a chance that this is very much real and that this is a concept that they are working around even right now, or that maybe it's just that. It was just a concept. It was not something they ended up doing, but maybe this is directing us kind of towards where Gaia is going. This game feels like, with all the leaks and rumors, that it is going to be one that is very mythical, very much driven by some sort of, you know, mythical power, right? More so than any other game before, even the ones with Arceus, even the ones with space and time being a part of it. They are heading to Greece, most likely, from at least what the leaks are saying. A lot of leakers are claiming this. So connecting it to kind of the Greek gods, but the Pokemon version of Greek gods, sounds so much freaking fun, and it sounds like it could be really awesome, because if you know anything about the mythos of the Greek gods, they were constantly down on Earth, they were constantly interfering with things. This seems kind of like that, and I wonder what's ultimately going to be at the end, because it's not just going to be that you're going to have these different Majin that you're going to have to kind of go and collect and get their powers and get your Pokemon ready for battle. There's going to be some sort of ultimate thing at the end. This is also going to fit super well potentially into champions. Like, again, there's so many different ways that I could go with this. I'm really honestly impressed. Even if this is fake, Pokemon should look at this and consider it as an idea that they could use in the future. But that is going to wrap it up for us on this one. Let me know what you guys think about this. Is it too ridiculous, Or does it sound like it would be a lot of fun like I feel like it might be? Let me know what you guys think. Like I said, in the comments. Always appreciate those. But from our house to yours, thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.